Hey guys, it's Owen Sparthaga. I know I haven't uploaded a video in a long while. I do want to get back into uploading videos, but this video today is mainly about making information accessible to folks online. Today we're going to talk about Monoji, which are made of one strand of woven cording. These are decorative knots and they were found on garments from the Sengoku era, specifically the Hitatare. You can also do something called kikutoji, which is more of like a flat pom-pom, but this is not going to cover that today. This is talking about just this decorative knot of the monoji. Monoji were typically made of rounded cord that was been braided. So specifically, if you're looking to buy the specific type of cording, it is kumihimo cording. If you cannot find that, or if you don't know anyone doing kumihimo cording, it's fairly simple to learn. I do not know how to do it, but there are plenty of tutorials online on how to do it. Or if you don't want to learn how to do it, you can use alternatives such as shoelace, not flat shoelace where it's like ribbon, where it's flat, the rounded one. Paracord, or other similar cords such as like a hoodie string, for example. To make these knots specifically for the hitatare, you will need to make 9 in total. So you will need 9 strands of 40 centimeter cording. If you're using an alternative material, such as something containing polyester or similar plastic-like material, you'll need a lighter to light the ends on so it doesn't continuously fray. You will need 4 wonder clips or the miniature binder clips if you cannot get a hold of these. These are just little clippies for sewing specifically, or quilting, but like I said, you can use the miniature binder clips if you can't get these. You will also need matching thread and a needle, or alternatively some sort of adhesive that can glue together fabric or polyester, whatever specifically the fiber you are using. I'm just using thread because it just blends in, and I'm not going to go out and buy an adhesive when I have thread. I do want to add that this tutorial isn't really based on any specific set of instructions. I have not been able to find specific instructions on how to do this knot. I've just figured out how to actually do the whole knot braid thing from just looking at it. So what I'm about to show you in the tutorial is there is no actual historical evidence that it was done this specific way. It was just how I particularly figured out how to do it because there was no information online on how to do it. If there is information released in the future that will be able to update this tutorial, I will add to it. However, for now, this is what I was able to do and figure it out with what I had, and there was not that much information on how to do this at all. The most I could find, even after the fact, was like a page tucked away in a book that's like a book, and it's only in Japanese. So if you're not like really heavily into Japanese costuming, this information was not accessible to someone that's just kind of getting into it. But now I'm trying to make this information more accessible to a lot more people. So we're just going to jump right into the tutorial. To start out the knot, what you are going to do is you're going to take the ends, take one and cross it over the other. You kind of want to make this sort of A shape where one end here is about 3-ish centimeters, and then you have your tail. You have a little loop A here. You're going to take your clip, whatever you're using. Clips are just a lot better because we're going to just clip it into place here. We're not wanting to glue everything down just yet because we don't want this to be permanent. Once the knot is actually like formed, we still need to kind of even it out and make sure it's nice and formed. So we're just going to clip things, not glue things. Once we create this kind of A shape, we're going to take the loop and twist it one time towards yourself, so that way it creates this kind of figure 8 shape. And this center part here, you are going to clip again. We're going to then move it so that way this line here, that was the the short end of your A, is now vertical, and the short end of the A is sticking up. We're going to take this long tail end and just scooch it under this bottom loop and over the end here. And we're going to pin it into place. And then we're also going to pin this bottom section here, so that way everything just can stay together. Now this is what I mean when I say we don't want to glue just yet, because this is just a hot mess. We don't want this. This is just the beginning. So now we are going to fix it and kind of zhuzh it so it actually looks the part. So this is kind of just based on what knot you have in front of you. So you don't necessarily have to fix it the exact same way I'm doing. It's just you want to have it, the end goal, be a very specific shape. And so to start that off, we are going to take this top one here, unpin it, and then shift it so that way it's in the middle of this loop. We still only want a couple centimeters sticking out. You don't want it nice and tight. So you just want to keep it at a couple centimeters. And the same thing for the bottom one. So adjust this side back into its loop shape. This end should be on top, and same as this one. Now we are going to take these little center points. I'm only going to do one at a time so that way it's easier. And we're just going to shift it so that this line still comes out straight, but we are going to have it come this end here under this figure 8 loop, be a smidge off of what I would call the center. So it's the figure 8 loop, and it comes around under this branch and then over the bottom branch, kind of like a treble clef. Then we're going to do it the same to this one, where it's beside this one. A little bit of a gap is okay. If you use a thicker cord, you can absolutely have everything touching, and more of a nicer tight one, but this is more of a thinner cord, so everything will be just a bit looser. It's hard to do it resting against a flat surface. I find it really easy to hold into my hand, like so, but this constantly moves around, and when I'm filming a tutorial, it's just going to be visually easier to have it against a flat surface. So now it is starting to look more like the Monoji knot. However, now this strand right here that's going over top these long ones, this one needs to move up more into the center. So we are going to have to move this one kind of, because everything else is pinned into place. We don't want to undo everything because then you'll lose it. So what we're going to have to do is going to take this long strand, pull it, so that way we're getting more of a center, and then pin back into place, and then do the same on the other side. And again, it's just more zhuzhing and fixing up. So you're just kind of trying to keep it into that shape of straight at the top and rounded in the corner. We do need to bring this one in again. There should only really be a small space between these two parts. And so once you've zhuzhed it and it looks roughly like this, then this is when you can tack down these corners and points or glue them down. You should do it one at a time individually. So I'm just picking this up so that way it's easier to manipulate in my hands. I still want to, with this, even though this point's like undone, I still want to keep these ones done until I reach them to tack them down. So that way it just holds its shape. So we're just starting at the bottom here, still trying to maintain this round shape here, and then keeping this little guy, like this branch that comes underneath here into the middle. But if we imagine this under branch here and this over branch here, the connection between these 2 points is a square. I'm just going to come up from the underneath between them and try and get the corners of that square. Sorry, this thread doesn't necessarily want to go through here, but still trying to maintain this circular point. So then we're going to then, from this top corner, go down diagonally across to the bottom corner on this side. I know my fingers are in the way, but unfortunately I'm going to have to like pinch to make sure everything stays lined up. I'm just turning it around so I can get a better grip on that. All right, so then the diagonal corner from the one where we started. And of course, long thread gets caught. Not all that much diagonal, but oh well. And then we're going to come around to an opposite side. It doesn't matter at this point, just as long as you're starting this still in that square box. And then from that side back down into the corner of the opposite diagonal side. Like that. And then I'm turning it over and then just knotting it in there by grabbing a couple strands and just your basic knot. You can bury this if you want. So now that you have all of the points tacked down, you now have a Monoji knot. To attach them to a Hitatare or other garment, you need to make 8 other ones for a 9 total. So yeah, have fun with that.